In a forest, Dresa wakes up after hearing a plane arrive. She grabs her weapon, and as soon as a man steps off the plane, he is shot in the head. Meanwhile, former Marine Levi wakes up from a nightmare and decides to clear his mind by relaxing at the beach. The next morning, he gets a text telling him to report to the Marine Corps base. Later at the base, Levi meets Agent Bartholomew. She knows he has an impressive record as an elite sniper and has no family or close friends, so she's there to offer him a job. In September, Levi wakes up on a plane after being put to sleep with anesthesia. He asks a soldier where they are, but she isn't allowed to tell him. He lands safely and starts his long journey, which includes a lot of climbing, hiking, and camping. Eventually, Levi reaches the edge of a massive gorge. There, he meets a soldier named JD, who has been stationed there for a year and still doesn't know where they are. The two men head to the West Tower, which is completely self-sufficient with solar power, a backup generator, a rain collection system, a vegetable garden, and plenty of wild animals to hunt. On the opposite side of the gorge is the East Tower. However, communicating with the guard in the East Tower is forbidden. The gorge is surrounded by landmines and tactical barriers to the north and south, leaving no way to cross. As JD continues showing Levi around, he explains the mission. Every day, Levi must patrol the western rim and restock the ammunition in the automatic gun turrets, which are placed every 600 meters. After that, JD leaves the tower and hikes to the extraction point. A helicopter picks him up using a rope, and a soldier asks him to confirm his identity. As soon as JD says the password, the soldier shoots him in the head and throws his body into the mountains. A month later, Levi has become used to his boring daily routine. He patrols the perimeter, maintains all the security systems, and checks in over the radio. While working in the garden, Levi notices movement at the other tower. He quickly grabs his binoculars and sees Dresa chopping wood. She notices him too, but ignores him. Another month goes by, and Dresa has to celebrate her birthday by herself. Tired of being bored, she fires her gun to get Levi's attention and holds up a sign asking for his name. Levi writes back that they aren't supposed to talk, but Dresa replies with her name and says she'll do whatever she wants because it's her birthday. Amused, Levi writes back with his own name and raises a glass so they can make a toast. Then Dresa plays music really loudly and asks Levi to dance with her. He says he's a terrible dancer but an excellent sniper, so Dresa responds by shooting his water bottle. Levi immediately grabs his rifle and shoots her bottle as well. Then Dresa places another bottle on her head, planning to continue the game. However, she suddenly stops after noticing something moving inside the gorge. When Levi looks down, he sees strange creatures that look like people made of trees climbing up his side of the gorge wall. He immediately shoots one of the monsters, causing it to fall onto a mine. The explosion brings down most of the climbers. A few creatures are still climbing, so Levi keeps firing while Dresa helps with her machine gun. Working together, they wipe out all the creatures within minutes. The next morning, Dresa treats her injuries and tells Levi it was the best birthday she has ever had. Then Levi goes down to repair the damage and replace the destroyed mines. In December, Levi hangs lights around a tree in the forest to make it look like a Christmas tree, and he also puts up a sign for Dresa. From that point on, they spend time together by sharing different activities, like building snowmen with each other's names, playing chess, and making music by drumming on pots. On February 14th, Levi notices Dresa crying in front of a family photo. He asks why she didn't go on patrol earlier, and she tells him she's having a difficult day and wishes he could be there with her. Using different tools from the armory, Levi builds a special device and fires a rocket across the gorge, where it gets stuck in a tree. It also starts a fire, but Dresa runs over to put it out and notices that there is a. She securely ties the rope to the tree before running back to the tower, where she sees Levi inviting her to dinner. Then Levi slides across the rope to cross the gorge, but he gets stuck halfway. Luckily, he's wearing gloves, so he grips the rope with his hands and keeps moving. Before long, he reaches Dresa's tower and gives her flowers. During dinner, they talk about their lives as mercenaries and how that kind of work affects their minds. Later, they share a dance and end up sleeping together. The next morning, Levi starts sliding back across the rope to return to his tower. At that moment, the hollow men appear on the wall and trigger a mine, causing a massive explosion that snaps the rope. Levi starts falling and quickly opens his parachute. Once she reaches the surface, her parachute gets caught on a rock, so Dresa has to cut it loose. The strong current immediately carries her away, and she crashes into a rock, accidentally dropping the auto-ascender. The river keeps pulling her downstream, so she grabs onto some tree roots and manages to reach the shore. Meanwhile, Levi is unconscious and hanging from a tree. Suddenly, one of the branches begins moving, revealing that it's actually a monster. Thankfully, Dresa hears the gunfire and arrives just in time, opening fire on the monster and saving Levi. The two begin making their way toward the wall to find the rope. Suddenly, they hear loud screeching before two hollow men appear riding horses that also look like they're made of trees. The riders attack Levi and Dresa with swords. Afterward, Dresa checks her bag and realizes the auto-ascender was lost in the river. Since the walls are far too high to climb, they have no way out. They reach an abandoned town where every building is covered with mutated plants. They also notice signs of earthquake damage throughout the area. They hear more screeching, warning them that more creatures are nearby, so they hide inside a church, where they find skeletons sitting in the pews. Levi notices the smell of cyanide, realizing the people took their own lives because they could no longer bear living in that place. Suddenly, they hear a noise, and Dresa looks up to see a giant spider jumping toward her. She immediately pushes it away but falls to the ground, where another spider rushes at her. Now the two soldiers have to fight both the spiders and the hollow men at the same time. Levi and Dresa run through the forest, but they can still hear the creature screeching behind them. Since the open forest leaves them exposed, they decide to move closer to the wall. There, they discover an old door and enter a facility that has also been overgrown by mutated plants. As they explore deeper, they realize it used to be a military laboratory. Levi discovers a videotape, and they play it on a projector. In the recording, a scientist explains that it's 1946 and that the community was created by a top-secret alliance of different nations. During the final years of World War II, they were developing biochemical missiles. However, 6 days before the recording was made, an earthquake struck the area and caused a chemical leak. The scientists worked non-stop to contain the toxin, but it soon mixed with the DNA of the local plants and animals, causing them to mutate. The scientist explains that being exposed to the toxin for only a few hours has no immediate effect, but the longer they worked with it, the more it slowly changed them as well, proven by the branches growing from the woman's stomach. Fortunately, because the base was located inside the gorge, the toxin never spread to the rest of the world. In another room, Levi and Dresa discover a computer from the late 2000s, proving that people continued using the facility long after the original disaster. Levi turns on the computer and learns that the site now belongs to Dark Lake, a private paramilitary corporation. The drone they saw earlier was collecting samples for Dark Lake's experiments, which are focused on creating super soldiers. The towers and hired guards are there to keep the entire operation a secret. Levi also finds information about the stray dog protocol, which turns out to be a nuclear bomb designed to sterilize the entire area if a containment breach ever happens. As the two prepare to leave, Levi tells Dresa that accepting this mission was worth it because it allowed him to meet her. They open the door and throw a smoke grenade before stepping outside. The two continue moving and eventually find the place where the original chemical leak happened. Mutated creatures are everywhere, trapped inside the sticky goo created by the toxin. Levi and Dresa begin crossing a bridge while feeling disturbed by the faces breathing inside the goo. Afterward, they search the abandoned town and find military jeeps inside a garage. They repair one of the engines and drive away, traveling for hours until they reach the broken rope. Levi quickly ties the rope to the jeep while Dresa shoots at the hollow men trying to reach them. Once everything is ready, they begin climbing the wall using the jeep. Things go smoothly at first, but before long they realize the hollow men are climbing after them. They kick one of them off the wall, and Levi starts using the sword to kill the others. After that, the two climb the rest of the way and return to Drace's tower. While treating their injuries, they agree to stay away from each other for 5 days as a quarantine in case either of them has been infected. They also decide they want to escape together, so they come up with a plan to destroy the Gorge. He then uses a grappling gun to return to his own tower. The following day, it's time for the monthly radio check-in. Instead of the usual operator, Levi is contacted by Bartholomew because she has learned that the computer inside the laboratory was turned on. When Levi denies entering the Gorge, Bartholomew assumes the guard in the other tower must have gone inside instead. She orders Levi's new mission to be killing that guard. Levi pretends to accept the assignment before ending the call. It is then revealed that the laboratory computer had a camera, and Bartholomew already knows both soldiers entered the facility. She immediately contacts a commander and orders him to prepare a team to head to the Gorge. The next morning, while Levi and Drace are preparing mines for their plan, Drace writes, "I love you back for Levi to see." At that moment, they spot a helicopter approaching and immediately run into the forest. When the incoming soldiers find both towers empty, they deploy drones, and a chase begins. The drones quickly open fire, so Levi and Drace shoot back, destroying them one by one while suffering a few injuries along the way. Once they reach higher ground, they take their sniper positions and shoot the cloakers. Because of the mines they placed earlier, a chain reaction begins, destroying every cloaker across the area. With the Gorge now fully exposed, the stray dog protocol is activated. Bartholomew and her team rush to the helicopter to escape while Levi and Drace run as fast as they can. The nuclear bomb detonates, and the massive explosion knocks the helicopter out of the sky, causing it to crash and killing everyone on board. Unfortunately, the blast also throws Levi off the edge of a cliff and into a river. After a month without hearing anything from Levi, she finally decides to leave on her own. Some time later, in France, Drace is working as a waitress. One day, she is surprised to see Levi sitting at one of her tables. He explains that it took him some time to recover from his injuries, and the two finally reunite with a kiss. What makes this movie stand out isn't just the action or the terrifying creatures, it's the relationship between Levi and Drace. What begins as two lonely guards following orders slowly grows into trust, friendship, and eventually love. Even after surviving impossible odds and uncovering a deadly conspiracy, they refuse to abandon each other. In the end, their bond becomes stronger than fear, proving that even in the darkest place on Earth, hope can still survive.